Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video and I am working on another layout in my train travels album. So it's 6x8. I have a full 6x8 page on the other side, so I have to work with it on this side as well. I do have to say, I don't want to use the back of this. It's very orange and I like orange. It's just that it doesn't go with these photos. So already I think I'm going to put this over the top. It's the same exact paper pattern. It's just a navy blue, which goes much better with what I have going here. And this is on the other side. This was a kit from Paper Person, and it must have come out in the summer. It's travel related, but it must have come out in the summer because it says July. I have to be honest, I will never use this because I don't do traditional project life or anything where I would want to be filling in all the days. So it doesn't really work for me. So I'm just going to sacrifice that and use this side. So they'll go back to back and you won't see that orange at all. Then I have to figure out how to put these together. And I'm thinking something like this on the left side, this one off center on the right, but I don't want it to cover up so much. So I'm going to have to trim these down a little bit, or at least one of them here. This one might be okay the way it is. I could lose a little on the top, but I could leave it. These definitely I need to trim down a bit. So when I trimmed these down and then put them up against that blue ledger paper, I've decided I actually don't like it. When I saw more of the lines peeking through because these photos were a bit smaller, I just didn't like it. And so I've changed my mind. Now I'm going to use this. I think I'm going to cut into a sheet of this. This is from Basil and it's called White Sands. It's actually like an off-white or a cream. And I'm not sure how well the camera will pick it up, but it actually has like little flecks in there. And so I kind of like that just so that it's not completely solid and blank. So I am going to cut into this and make a 6x8 piece. Now I can see it all aligned on this paper and I definitely like that a lot better. So that's good. And then I also pulled out some things I had set aside, this being one of them, traveling by train. And I think what I want to do is, I'm gonna have to cut it down a little bit. It's a little too long on the ends, but that's fine. I'm going to do something like this, I think, and then I want to say, actually I'll have to move it up because I want to say this is why I enjoy, and then traveling by train will be there, and then continue my journaling. I kind of like the idea of this being in the middle of the journaling, sort of interrupted. I don't do that very often, but I think it could be fun here just as something different that I don't normally do. I started my sentence there and now I have this ready. I've already clipped off this end. So I'm going to put it like right there, I think. And then I'll continue my journaling below it. But I just want to make sure I get my spacing correct so that it will all look good together. All right, so I completed my journaling. This is still there, so I'm just going to cut that off. And you can see I actually started there and goofed and had to redo it and make sure that it all lined up. So now it does, and I'm happy with the way it looks. I'm going to put in a little staple right there. And now that's pretty good. Now I just have to arrange these again and then figure out what other stamping or embellishments or whatever that I want to go on here. Because there is red, there are those red stripes on the side of the train, I think I'm going to do a red tag. And again, I'll hang it off probably the top here, either here or here, and cut off what I don't need. But I think I'm going to just stamp this train on the tag so that it fits with the train travel theme, and I work in a little bit of extra color. There we have it. I did my stamping and here's just a little scratch piece. I wanted to make sure that the stamp was seasoned. I did that before with a pencil eraser and then just did a test run to make sure it was going to look good, and it did. And then here it is, and really I just held it to the edge. I only inked you know, as far in as I could to get this, and then didn't touch the rest of the stamp. So I didn't use a marker, which sometimes I've done. This time I figured I could get it as close to the edge as possible and just do partial stamping that way. Well, I'm an idiot. I just realized I did this wrong. I should have put the train at the bottom, because now if I clip it off, I don't have that border. So I didn't think that through. So now either I have to redo it and waste this, or move this down here where I can still use it a little bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I liked it better up here. It was further away from the red, but it is what it is. So I think I'm going to use it there. And then if I want a visual triangle, has to be kind of something over here. I still could do something up top, but I could also do something on the side. But I'm going to start with this and just hope that I still like it when it's done. So there it is, being attached at the bottom, and it isn't where I thought it was going to be, but that's fine. I'll just take it and make it work. I do have this little portion left, so I could maybe like utilize that up here or something. I don't know exactly what else I would do with it, but it's an option. I have it. I'm also going to look around at some other things that I could potentially use to liven it up a little bit. So I'm looking at a couple of things. I had this out anyway from the previous layout, and I'm thinking I might use this red geotag right up top. And then I noticed that on this chipboard, I had a couple of red things. I like this, but it says travel, and I already have traveling by train, so I don't want to use that. But this one, it's a little bit smaller than I would like, but I like the fact that it's red and it says adventures, because that's what I'm doing here. So I think I'm going to use this one for sure, and I'll probably put it up here just to bring in some of that red. And if I use the geotag, then I still get a visual triangle of red. This won't really be included, but I think it would still work from a design perspective. So I think maybe I'll lay that all out and see how I feel about it. This is a great example with this layout of things not going perfectly. You make a mistake with writing, and then you realize you made a mistake here with stamping. Now another thing has happened. When I was popping this out of the chipboard sheet, the entire backing basically ripped apart. It ripped away from it and fell off. So now this is all I have. Very, very thin piece left at the top. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use liquid glue and just hope that it still sticks on there, but that certainly was not what I was anticipating. I have that glued on now, so all of those pieces are there, but this still feels flat to me. And I think it's because the background is so neutral. It's so kind of bland. So I think what I'm going to do is perhaps do a little brown splattering, like very, very little. But I have a brown lid on my coffee cup there. I've got tan here and kind of above. And I think these are brown, not black. They're very dark brown. So I'm going to try it and just hope that it doesn't screw it up, given the other things that have already happened. All right, so I've got this in the box, ready to go. I'm just going to take kind of a scratch sheet and cover up as much of the photos up top as I can, because I don't want a bunch of ink getting on there and smearing, but I don't mind if it gets over there. And I've already done a good shake of this because this is a metallic ink. So I want to make sure it's mixed up well. And now I'm going to just do a little bit, hopefully. There we go. And then I could also do some down here, which I think I will. So same kind of thing. I'm just going to sort of strategically place it and then do a little bit more. There we go. Let's see what I think of that. Here it is with the splattering, and I do think that helps. I did actually have to go back in and add a couple of spots, like just by very, very gently touching the wand to the paper. I try not to do that because sometimes it spreads and it looks awful, but it worked out well here. So I just added one there, up top, a little bit here, one at the bottom, just to have it more evenly distributed, because it looked kind of strange that I had everything over here and then this part was just blank. So I think that's going to stay that way. So it's nothing, spectacular, but it gets the job done and it gets the album started. And really, that's all I need from this layout. So here's another one done for train travels. Thanks for watching.